So far, what we would have covered, it's already in your classroom. We covered, I think this is 2023 paper one. No, 2020 paper one, I think. And we covered, I think this is 2023 paper two. So we are going to 2022 paper one. We're going to be working that. Because the last paper we worked with a paper two, so we're going to switch to paper one. So, first question. Which of the following items are considered computer hardware? C, correct. The process of scrambling messages at the sending and unscrambling them at the receiving end is called C, encryption. But I think I mentioned this when we worked the previous paper. Encryption is when you're scrambling. What is the unscrambling stage called?
Sir, I think it's decryption.
Right. So encryption is when you're scrambling, and decryption is when you are unscrambling. Coding. What does the term coding mean? When somebody's coding, what does that mean? Nobody? So, nobody ever never heard that term before, coding? I'm pretty sure you heard of it before. So, code writing in a language the computer can understand. A bit elaborate, but just in simple terms, coding is basically writing a program, creating a program, or writing a software. So basically writing the program, the codes for a software. That's coding. 3, which of the following can be termed application software? E, good. What are the rest? What type of software is the rest? System software, more specifically operating system software. Good. What does DOS stand for? DOS, DOS. Disk operating system. Disk operating software. Wait, is it? DOS. DOS. Disk operating system. Because it's an operating system. Yes, system. So, that was before Windows. Microsoft used to use this before Windows. Disk operating system, DOS. Good. But DOS also has another name when it comes to networking. A type of attack that a type of cybercrime, DOS, DOS attack. Anybody know it? Yes, denial of service. So for cyber attack or cybercrime, denial of service is DOS also. And then we also have DDoS. What is DDoS? So the extra D is distributed. So distributed denial of service. Denial of service is when you're denying service from maybe one system or one user. That's denial of service. But distributed denial of service is when you take multiple systems and you combine them together to try to carry out a denial of service attack. So distributed meaning that you combine multiple systems together to carry out that attack. 4. Which of the following activities would not be considered cloud storage? No. D is not correct. B, yes. So I want you to see this word LAN. LAN is basically the opposite of cloud. So those are the two types of storage. Well, no, take that back. But you could say it's two type. Basically, cloud storage is what is farther away from you. LAN is what is close by. So LAN is what is within your vicinity, within your room, within the building. So data stored accessible in LAN, that is nearby. That is not considered cloud. Remote server, that is a description of a cloud somewhere far away. The internet, that's somewhere far away. And persons that offer cloud storage, we call them storage providers or hosting companies. That's what we also call them. So like for instance, Google is a storage provider because it offers Google Drive. 5. Which of the following could not be classified as a cloud-based application? Correct, D. So anytime you hear the word cloud, think of internet, that you're trying to access some sort of service over the network, over the internet. So Gmail, Dropbox, Google Drive, all require the internet. Windows does not need the internet to work. It just needs it to get additional support and function. 6. Software which is modified to perform specific tasks for a particular user is referred to as. C. So no, 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 no. No, 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 no. This word modified. Software which is modified to perform specific tasks for a particular user is referred to as customized and custom written. So it didn't say it was created. Software which is modified to perform specific tasks for a particular user is referred to as. That's more customized, the definition of customized. Software which has been modified. So customized software is when you take general purpose software and you modify it to do specific tasks. So like you take Microsoft Office, which is a general purpose software, and you modify it to do something else that maybe it doesn't do. So you get customized. Are you guys following so far? 7, the RP secondary school wants the administrative staff to have access to all student and teacher data. Which of the following networks would be most suitable to enable such access? Correct. A is correct. What is the distance covered, or what is man? Anybody remember what is man? No, not what you're thinking. What is man?
Main area network.
Okay then. Okay then. Are you okay, Lilian? That was a bit too much there.
I'm sorry.
You okay?
It's not me. It's
Everything okay there? Yes, metropolitan. Metropolitan area network. So LAN is local, MAN is metropolitan, WAN is wide. What's the distance covered? Local is a room, a building, a floor, or floors. What is a metropolitan cover? No one? Universities? Yeah, that's an example, a university. So basically, a LAN technically could connect two buildings, but once you're starting to enter the territory of say for instance, a campus with a university, and there's multiple buildings and each got their own network, and then you wanted to connect all of these buildings together, there you're entering a metropolitan. That's like the smallest stage of a metropolitan, growing all the way into kilometers. So like say for instance, the entirety of region 4 and even larger could be considered a metropolitan area network. And then the wide area network, that's basically the largest. That's when you're connecting countries and so on. But some persons would even consider wide area, like if you can say you're connecting like the different regions of Guyana and so on. But you consider that as like the smallest point going up to connecting between countries. That's wide area. What is WLAN? What does WLAN mean? What is WLAN? Wireless LAN. Great. WLAN is wireless LAN. WLAN is basically LAN, but does that the wireless aspect of it. Good. 8. For which of the following interface types is the user required to remember specific instructions and syntax? Good. C. So C, you have to type in certain commands, instructions, syntax. What is an example of this command-driven interface? What is an example of it? What is an example of it called? Because that might be a question. An example of a command-driven interface. Excel? No. So one example is called the command prompt. Command prompt. This here. This is one example of a command-driven interface. You have to type in commands and it will carry out the action. Command prompt. Another example is Microsoft PowerShell. Let me see if that's the actual name. Yeah, Windows PowerShell, not Microsoft. Windows PowerShell is another example of a command-driven interface. So notice a window popped up with just words and you type in instructions and it carried it out. Even DOS. DOS is also an example of a command-driven interface. So you got 3 examples there if you were asked that question. What are examples of graphical user interface? Mac OS, good. Windows, Android, iPhone OS. Those are all examples of graphical user interface. Graphical user interface is made up of the acronym WIMP. What does that mean? What is WIMP? Those are the 4 key aspects that make up a graphical user interface. W is window. So as you can see, this is a window. I is an icon. So as you can see, the bottom here, we're working with a lot of icons. And on your desktop, you have a lot of icons. M is a menu. Notice we have a lot of menu options. And P is a pointer. So you have something to point and indicate where you are working. So like how we can point and draw and so on, that's my pointer. So those 4 aspects make up the graphical user interface. What is an example of a menu-driven interface? An example of a menu-driven interface. So a ATM machine. Anybody ever use an ATM machine? No? Let me see if I can pull up an image. What? ATM machine. So the ATM machine, I'm looking for the interface. Yeah, so look here. If you notice, it gives you a bunch of menu options. So this is an example of a menu-driven interface. It gives you basically options for you to select. Another example might be the computer for a bank, the bank teller. They might have, it depends on the situation, but no, not a bank. More of it could be different. More of a supermarket. Supermarket might have one. A fast food restaurant especially would have one, like KFC, Popeyes, and DQ, and so on. Their computer interface is going to be menu driven. So those are examples of those interfaces. 9. The most suitable computer system for a research station used to forecast and monitor earthquakes is a. It's not a real exam, you know. If you guess, you won't. It's not like if you're gonna lose any marks. C, mainframe. No. B, desktop. A, laptop. The correct answer is a supercomputer. So the most suitable computer system for research station used in forecast and monitor earthquake. Now, once you're dealing with analyzing a lot of data, a lot of technical data, like forecasting the weather, trying to detect earthquakes, trying to figure out the pattern of a disease, trying to find a cure, those kind of things. Once you're dealing with a lot of data, you're dealing with a supercomputer, because that would have the capability to analyze the data. Now, the other types of computers, basically, why do they have mainframe at the top? So a mainframe is basically what companies like Google, Facebook, um, Apple, and those companies, YouTube, and so on, when they want to set up servers so that they can offer you service like Google Drive, YouTube, so that you can store all of your videos, Facebook, so that they can store all of your information, and so on. They use what is called mainframe computers. So it's basically under supercomputer. I don't know why they have it before. Supercomputer is supposed to be the largest computer, the most powerful computer. Then under that, you're supposed to have mainframe computer. That's going to be servers and so on. Workstation computers is basically like having a high-end desktop. So like how in school we have a desktop, or you might have a desktop at home. Once it has like a very powerful CPU, it has a lot of RAM inside, it has a lot of storage, it has a graphics card inside of it. We call that a workstation because persons use it for work. So we call it a workstation. So you can have graphic edit workstation, you can have video edit workstation, you can have animation workstation, architectural design workstation, and so on. And then we get smaller now with personal computer, laptop, tablets, and smartphone. Please note that these are computers also, just that they are smaller versions of computers. What does a supercomputer look like? It kind of looks like a mainframe. Maybe that's why they have them side by side, but just that the supercomputer is much more powerful. So mainframe versus supercomputer. Workstation computer. So if you notice, basically looks like a desktop, like if you're working from a desktop, because basically is a desktop, but just that it is very powerful. It has a lot of specs to it, so that persons can do a lot of work with it. So yeah, so that's that question there. Any questions from anyone? 10. The symbol represents
Wi-Fi.
good. 11. Which of the following countermeasures can only be implemented as a software measure to mitigate the effects of identified threats to a computer system? This is a bit technical. Because it says only be implemented as software. And I know I was correct because I know that intrusion detection system can be both hardware and software. And so does a firewall. Firewall can be hardware also. So can a firewall be hardware? So what is that? At the most basic level, a hardware firewall is a physical unit, while software, so there's both hardware and software firewall. So which of the following countermeasures can only be implemented as a software measure to mitigate the effects of identified threats? The effects of identified threats. But then it says only. But to mitigate, it says to mitigate. So the answer is going to be firewall. That's the only logical answer there. Because ignoring the only and ignoring only software, it says to mitigate the effects, or basically to stop the effects. An intrusion detection system is only to detect. It's not going to stop anything, whereas the firewall is actually built to stop. So that's going to be the correct answer. 12. Unauthorized real-time interception of a private communication on a computer network is referred to as? Correct. Electronic eavesdropping. Double entry data verification involves yes. Same data entered once, then re-entered by another person. Double entry, it has to be same data. Cannot be different data. So that would eliminate those two. 14. Part of a private network using internet technology and public telecommunications that can be accessed by business suppliers, vendors, customers, and partners is an Ashley. No, it's not D either.
Sorry, not intranet. B.
Extranet. So, part of a private network using internet technology and public telecommunications that can be accessed by a business supplier. So this is the key part, accessed by business supplier. So a company, organization, they're going to have a private network. That's going to be called the intranet. Now, when a business wants to get access to that now, they need an extranet. The internet now is public, so anybody can go and access that. Ethernet. Does anybody know what is Ethernet? Is that a Wi-Fi thing? Is it plugged into the computer? Not a Wi-Fi thing, but a cable. So Ethernet is a standard of cable. So what you should have typed is that LAN thing. So Ethernet is what gives you LAN connection. So yes, that same cable that you plug into your computer, that gives you LAN connection. That's called Ethernet standard. The cable is called RJ45. That's another name for it. So you know how you got a cable that's plugged into your landline? That cable is also Ethernet, but just at a different type of Ethernet. That's called RJ11. So the one that plugs into your computer, that is called RJ45. And the one that plugs into your phone, that is RJ11. RJ45 versus RJ11. So as you can see here, RJ11 has 6 pin, plugs into your phone. 45 has 8 pin, plugs into your computer and other networking devices. 15, telecommuting can be best described as good working from home, connecting home and office. Sixteen, which of the following functions is performed by a modem? Regulates, yes, modulates. It doesn't regulate, it modulates. So just remember MO, modem, because modulates, you got to remember what two words make up modem. What two words make up modem? What are the two words? So modulator and demodulator. Pretty sure I spelled both of them wrong. Yeah, modulator, demodulator, that's what makes up the word modem. So once you can remember modulator, demodulator, that should help you to remember that a modem modulates. Or basically, it converts analog to digital and digital to analog signals. 17, in the URL, shoes.com stands for yes, the domain name. Give me a second. Root domain versus company name. Why I'm checking this is because everything to show only this part here as the domain name. And so I just wanted to confirm. Okay, so this one is saying it here that the top level domain and the name is the domain name. I guess we'll work with that. 18, transferring data from a remote computer to your computer is referred to as downloading. 19, which of the following types of technologies is commonly used by banks to read data on checks? MICR, good. Should we ask what each one is, acronym for each one, or do we remember what they are? Um, 20. Customers log in to an online application using a username and password to submit a record of their monthly meter reading to a utility company. Which of the following, which file organization method is used for the file of all the records submitted by customers each month? Any reason for your answer, Ashley? Or you just guess? Okay. I think the most logical answer is going to be serial. I don't know if you were in the class when we had a whole discussion on the all the types of access, but sequential indicates that you would have sorted the data. That's what sequential means. Serial is basically oh, found it. Serial is when you enter the data and it's basically recorded as it is entered. So notice here, serial, it is unordered. Sequential, ordered, meaning that you went and organized it basically. So from my understanding of this question is that different customers are going to log into the system, put in their reading into the system, put in their number, and now this file that is going to keep a trace of all the entry, it's not going to be, unless somebody went there to organize it, then it's going to be sequential. But it's going to keep it in the order that the customers would have entered the information. What I said in this class here is that this is going to be time-based. It's going to record the information based on time. Like customer 1 came in at 10 o'clock, customer 2 came in at 10:01, customer 3 came in at 10:30. So it's going to be in that particular order, that serial order. So serial, in my opinion, has to be the most logical answer. Anybody else want to have anything else to comment on that? All right. 21. Usernames and encrypted passwords are used to authenticate customers when logging into their accounts. Which of the following is the most efficient file access method? B or C? No, it's not going to be serial and it's not going to be sequential because you're trying to get their login credentials. Username and encrypted passwords are used to authenticate customers when logging in. So basically, the person entered their username and password, and you need to authenticate it. How the system works is that it's going to check the username, check the password to see if it matches their database. But now we got to figure out how does it go through this database to find that username and password. So it doesn't I would say it's either direct or it got to be direct. Because it's going to search, it's basically going to search for that username or password and go directly to the system. Like search for the username, and then in the database, it's going to find the password and see if it matches. That's the most logical thing I'm thinking there. Because if it goes through serial or sequential, it means it got to go through this one long list, and that's going to take a lot of time, too much time. What am I searching? Direct access method. In computer storage, direct access is the process of reading and writing data on a storage device by going directly to where the data is physically located on the device, rather than having to move sequentially from one physical location to another. Because sequential is going to take a long time. Direct versus random access method. The term direct access is often considered synonymous with random. Yes, that is true because data is accessed randomly rather than sequential. Direct access relies on addressing techniques that enable the operators to identify. Yeah, but I think it's more direct access. I don't think random. Yeah, it's going to be direct. Direct. So it's going directly to that username and password to confirm it's actually correct. 22. What? They brought back what? In order to use a program stored on a flash drive, the program must be transferred to RAM. Good. So everything must be transferred to RAM in order for it to be working, in order for the computer to function. 23. Which of the following is not a hardware component of a computer system? Good. Data file, that's just binary. Main memory, basically another name for RAM. Peripheral devices are basically all devices that you plug into your computer. Mouse, keyboard, printer, scanner, monitor, anything that you connect to your system, we call that peripheral devices. 24. A system that analyzes data and that uses rules and previous information to deliver possible decisions is called interesting. Very interesting. A robot machine? Is that what you said, Ashley? Yeah. I'm thinking B also. Expert system. Anybody know what's an expert system? There's another name for expert system. And we use it a lot today. It's actually very popular today. So expert system, AI, correct. Artificial intelligence. Expert system is what? Where did I learn about this? Is it a type of computer? I can't remember what I learned. What is this a type of? Um, or type of information system. This is basically this shouldn't even be a fifth form question. This is a higher level form question. Um, Basically, an expert system is also called an artificial intelligence system. It's a type of computer system. Well, as the description here at the top has it, that you feed this system data and it tries to analyze that data to figure out certain patterns from it and to learn how to do certain things so that when you give it basically some form of data, it will try to recognize if that is it or not, or try to create something from it. Depends on what you're creating system for, basically. Well, a robot machine is just a machine. A biometric machine, that's just to scan your biometric features, and we should know what is a mainframe computer. 25. Which of the following statements about biometric systems is incorrect? B. The level of accuracy is very high. The personal data capture is very intrusive. A small amount of memory is used to store data. Well, that's definitely wrong. The user has to be present to use the system. Yes, that's true. Yes, so B, we're gonna work with B. The person. Is high. Small amount of memory is used. Small amount of memory is used. Do biometric systems use a small amount of memory? Do biometric systems use a small amount of memory? How much storage does biometric systems use? Alright, so I guess it's for a large scale system, but on a small system it won't require much data. It's just storing it for that one person or a few persons. The personal data captured is intrusive. The personal data captured is intrusive. Okay, good. So I got my answer. So it's a good thing I just questioned myself. Iris scan and retinal scan are considered intrusive because basically you're offering your information, and then you gotta basically position your body at a certain way. So most people are reluctant to have a scanner read any geometrics. Eye scan is usually the most costly biometric technology. So C has to be the answer. Because on a large scale, like for example, like a company, they would have to store the biometrics for all of these employees. So it can't be a small amount of data. So the level of accuracy is high, correct. It's intrusive, correct. And the user has to be present, correct. But it doesn't use a small amount of data to store. Good. 26. Which of the following examples describe a denial of service attack? D and D is correct. So a denial of service, as the name implies, is when you're denied of using a service. How do they deny you? Well, basically, they deny you by creating a lot of traffic, a lot of network traffic. So, how they create a lot of network traffic? By sending a lot of junk email. So that takes up the whole bandwidth. Sending too many requests. Like maybe we have something what is called a ping, and that basically requests the server to send out a signal. So if you send too much of it, too much requests, or maybe too much person are requesting the website, and a flood of transactions, basically too much data once again. 27. Which of the following protocols is used to ensure that all web pages and servers communicate with each other? D, good. 28. Which of the following is true of accessing files sequentially? B, starts with the first record. So serial and sequential, they're both the same. You got to go in order. But just that, as we said, serial does not have is not organized, whereas sequential is organized. 29. Which of the following is a hardware user interface? D, correct. So remember, user interface is what you use to interact with the system. So a touch screen is how you interact with a computer system. 30. A webmaster is important to the company because he or she yes, they're responsible for the company's website. 31. Which of the following are not categorized as system software? Good. Productivity tools. Productivity tools is another name for what? What type of software? Productivity tools is another name for application software. What are translators? What are their purpose? What is a translator? And how many types of translators do we have? Nobody knows? We went through this quite a few times already. So translators are what we use to convert one language to another. Good. So you have high level language, which is what we use, Pascal, Python, C, C++, and so on. And we use a translator called a compiler to convert it into the low level language. So that's one translator. We have the other translator that is similar to the compiler is the is what? Compiler. Interpreter. You gotta remember what's the difference between the interpreter and the compiler. A compiler compiles or converts the entire program at once. The interpreter converts one line at a time. It takes a line, converts it, checks it. Takes another line, converts it, checks it. But basically, both convert high level to low level. The third translator is the assembler. And that's basically responsible, we have it here. And that's basically responsible for converting assembly language to low level language. So this here is a bit incorrect. It's from assembly language to low level. Yeah, so as you see here, compiler translates the whole program. Interpreter translates the program line by line. Assembler for translating assembly language. Where am I open Paint? Um, 32. The order of the connecting hardware components of a LAN starting from the ISP line to desktop computer is A. Modem, router, switch. Well, modem has to come first. Router, switch, modem. This is a tricky one. B, A, router, then switch. Depends on how you're looking at it. Let me see. Oh, I think the textbook has it. I think the textbook has it, yeah. Where it has networking. I think. Network configuration. No, but I don't think the textbook talks about switch. I think it talks about hub. Is it wrong? Assuming the normalization, you put the switch after the router because the modem will only talk to the first computer that talks to its protection, the router. Good. So Ashley is correct. Modem, router, and then switch. So the modem is going to give you the connection to the ISP. The router is what is going to take the connection from everybody's devices. So the laptop, the phone, everything, and send it over to the modem. And the switch now is if you have some routers, I'm assuming this is an old router and it doesn't have any LAN port. So this is maybe where the switch comes into play so that other desktops can plug into this here. 33. Before purchasing a computer, James was given a sheet with the following hardware specification. The CPU speed of the computer is D, correct? So that should be straightforward. What is B? What is B? Two words. B is the, something to do with word limit, word size, correct. So basically how much data you can process at one time, 64 bits at one go. That's called the word size. 34. Which type of interface allows the user to communicate with the computer system by keying in instructions? Yes, I like how they gave the same question in a different manner, in the same paper. Very fancy. 35. Which of the following devices is used for manual data entry into a computer system? No, not barcode. C, yes, a document scanner, because you have to scan the document manually. Barcode is going to collect a lot of data and scan it in the system, same for smart card on OMR. But a document, you just only scan like one page. It doesn't like scan the individual words. If it was the OCR, then that's scanning a lot of information into the system. 36. Which of the following is an example of a correctly formatted email. A, correct. So the domain name, always remember for email, domain name is always at the end, happy.net. So like how we have google.com, it's always at gmail.com, not google.com, at gmail.com. So happy.net at whatever. 37, which of the following types of software should be used for applications that involve repetitive numerical calculations? C, correct. Spreadsheet. 38, selecting or highlighting a paragraph creates a block. Good. The following formula is located in position B6 of a spreadsheet. What would be the resultant formula if the initial formula was copied to the position located directly on the left? One says D, one says C. Okay, so if you go into the left, it means it has to decrease. It's going, what would be the resultant formula if the initial formula is copied to the position located immediately on the left? So it's going to the left, meaning it has to decrease. So that's going to be C. So it's going to be A3, A4, and this is going to remain the same. What is this called? Absolute addressing. Very good. And what is the other type of addressing? Relative addressing. Good. Next question. So this is one method of absolute addressing, the $sign. What is the other method of absolute addressing? I see Jada now wake up. What is the other method of absolute addressing? The other method is name range, or basically name cell. You name in a cell, you name a range. That's the other method of, or using the name of a cell, like you giving it the actual name. That is the other method of absolute addressing. In creating a query, a student entered the following criteria for the date field. The output will show C, no B, from 11th to 14th May 2022. Yes. So once you see this 14 here, that's an indication as a date. That's not a month. 05, that's month. So 05 is May. So that's the 11th to the 14th of May. Spreadsheet formula use Try again. Yes. Spreadsheet formulas use values, ranges, and cell address. Values are basically numbers. Ranges, well, that's the cell range, colon to whatever. and the individual cell address. 42, integers entered in a cell on a spreadsheet are automatically nope. A, right justified with no decimal place. Right justified, no decimal place. What? What? Oh, the same page twice. Had me there. 43. When the hen is ready to lay her eggs, what the hell? Then, and only then, will the hen find a secluded spot to lay them. When using the find and replace editing feature in a word processing program, without using the whole words only option, how many occurrences of hen would be found in the sentence above? When the hen is ready to lay her eggs, then and only then will the hen find a secluded spot. D? I have no idea. So find and replace we go. Control dot. What's the option? Whole words only option. I don't even know what's that option. What is whole words only? EDPM students? You're supposed to know this. Where is the whole words only option? Find whole words only. Whole words only option. Oh, so you're gonna find only for that. So let me see if that's true. Kind of makes sense. So when the hen. So okay, find and replace. Find hen. Find hen. Good. And if we do a whole word, you only get. It's only gonna look for that word hen. So it's not gonna look for it within. So it's gotta be A. How much hen do we have? We have 1 hen, 2 hen. Yeah, so it's gonna be A, 2 hen. 44. Which of the following features would be least efficient when using the find and replace dialog box to replace all occurrences of the word hen with the word duck? Skipping to each individual occurrence. Which of the following features? D. Finding the word hen using old words only. No, you need that. Which of the following features would be least efficient when using find and replace dialog box? to replace all occurrences. You need to replace hen, so we need that. Find each exact occurrence of the word hen. We need that, and that. Having the text in parts of words replaced. No, that's going to be wrong. Skip into each individual occurrence. Yeah, I'm thinking B, but I'm thinking about something else. Cause, yeah, we can go with B. Thinking, what was I thinking? Skipping to each individual occurrence won't be replacing the actual word hen. Is that like find next? Skipping to each one. If you skip to each individual occurrence, is that find next? This is what I'm asking. If you individual occurrence, so then that would mean skipping. You're not replacing. Feature would be least efficient when using. Because technically, having parts of the word replaced. Technically. I mean, it's not like logically correct. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A is not replacing anything. And technically, B is replacing. Does that? It's not logically correct. Is that a B or A? But let me see if Big Auntie's sleeping. Which of the following features would be least efficient when using the find and replace dialog box to replace all occurrences with the word hen? But then it put it in double quotation mark with the word duck. It ensured it put it in the word double quotation mark. So having the text parts in the word replace. Yeah, B has to be the correct answer. Skipping to each individual occurrence, you're gonna look for it and then you can replace it. So you're gonna help in a way finding each exact occurrence with the word. B, A, and C is like technically like the same thing. Skipping to each individual occurrence, finding each exact occurrence is basically the same thing. Finding the word hen using words only, yeah. So B, we'll go with B. Any objections? All right, so it's 8:35. I guess we can stop there. Any questions before we stop? Remember we stopped at question 44. Any questions, comments, suggestions, recommendations? Anything before we depart? All right, if no questions, that will be it for tonight's class. Enjoy the rest of your night. Do, 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 do.